Hey, thanks, Tracy. How's everybody doing? I can't hear your response. As Tracy said, my name is Dougherty, and I am with Classroom Adventure Stories. I'm a children's author and storyteller, and I am indeed the entire company of Classroom Adventure Stories. And what I like to do is I use my stories at child care centers, schools, malls, libraries to promote life lessons. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to make story time more fun by making it more interactive. And you'll notice I'm going to do two things today, and this is what I do whenever I tell a story. I'm going to put the names of the audience as the main characters in the story. So Amy and Gabrielle and Allison and Unique, Amanda and Quiana, you're all going to be main characters in this story. The second thing that I do is I make my stories highly interactive. So you're going to act out the adventures in the story. Typically, when I do this in person at NJCCA, I can see you guys, and I make sure you are acting it out, but I can't see you on my screen. So hopefully you're going to play along with me. Typically, when I go into a place, whether it's a school or a library or a conference, I hand out props. This is a fan. We're going to use this today, but of course, we're not in person, so I can't hand this out. So when we get to the part where I want you to make some wind, I just want you to go like this, okay, to make wind. Just follow me for the lead and play along, because what I find is when stories are more interactive, they're more fun. And when you teach a lesson to a child in a very fun and stimulating fashion, that lesson sticks. So I'm going to tell you my campfire story. And at the end of the story, we're going to go through the lessons that I've attached to that story. And hopefully you'll remember them. So I'm going to move back a little bit. Hang on. And I'm going to tell you my story. This is called a not so typical campfire story, featuring children, or in this case, the teachers of the NJCCA. And it starts like this. This is a camp story because it is being told at a campsite. But this is not your typical camp story because we're not sitting at your typical campsite. Not so long ago, as a matter of fact, right now, in a campground not so far away. As a matter of fact, right here, there was a group of teachers who walked into the NJCCA conference one morning, as a matter of fact today, and found that the strangest thing had happened. Now, I'm sure you won't believe me when I tell you this, but seemingly overnight, their classroom had been transformed into a campsite. It's true. They'd all left their classrooms yesterday as soon as their moms and dads picked them up. They leapt to their feet and rushed towards the door, ignoring Miss Tracy's stern warning to slow down. They rushed through the hallways, eager to get outside and enjoy the warm air of a sunny summer day in the beautiful state of New Jersey. And as they each headed home, none of them had any clue that when they returned to their campsite the next morning, or when they returned to their classroom the next morning, it would not look like their classroom. In fact, it actually looked like a campsite. Everybody, pull out your imaginations. Ready? Gone were their tables and chairs, replaced by rocks and trees. Gone was their storytime reading corner, replaced by a pond. Their bookcases, toy carts, and computers had all disappeared or morphed into various parts of the campsite. And in their place were a tent, cave, waterfall, and the centerpiece of their campsite right about here, campfire. Their classroom, where they had learned so much, had become Camp Learned a Lot. Now, the children were shocked and did not know how to react. Miss Tracy was still there, but she was no longer a teacher. She was now a camp counselor. Their friends were still there, but they were no longer students. No, they were campers. The children had to adjust very quickly, and with the help of Miss Tracy, explained that as of yesterday, they learned so much that their very own classroom had changed into a campsite. This was a reward for all their hard work. She also told them that in order to mark this very special event, a children's author had been invited to tell them a story around the campfire. This was harmless enough, and no one was worried at all. But this is where our tale takes a twist, you see. And this is where our adventure begins. Right around 10 o'clock, a man entered the room and explained that he was at his old school. The first clue that the campers got that something strange was happening was when the man started to tell the story, and it was about them and their classroom being changed into a campsite and the marvelous adventures they were about to go through. How could this strange man tell them a story about themselves and the adventures they had not yet experienced? Campsite. You. Everybody go, good. I assume you're doing it. Okay. Well, the children listened intently to the man. She described the transformation of their classroom into a campsite. But as right after that part of the story, strange things started to happen. First, it seemed like the campground started to sway. The best way to do it. Good. The children looked at each other, not knowing what to do. They looked to Miss Tracy, but she just shrugged. She'd only been a camp counselor for a few minutes now, and this was all into her as well. The swaying did not last too long, and nobody was seriously hurt. Amy was a little bit dizzy, but you know what? That was nothing. So the children laughed, and the man went on with the story. Next, the campground beneath them began to shake and quake. You guys shake for me? Shake. This frightened the campers and their teachers. They all put their hands up to their faces, and then they screamed. Everybody scream for me. Your kids are much better than that. This is it! We're all gonna die! Shouted Gabrielle. I'm too young to die, said Patrick. Me too, said Allison. I still haven't seen the latest episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. Everyone just calm down. Calm down, said Miss Tracy. We'll be all right. Everybody just calm down. Just like that, the camp quake stopped. Suddenly it started. But wait! The camp quake had shaken some logs off the campfire, and now there was a small forest fire, and it was beginning to spread. Look, 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 everybody! Shouted Yonique. The camp quake has started a forest fire. Oh no, it's getting bigger, said Amanda. What should we do? What should we do? said Brianna. I don't know, said Christopher. Quick, everybody. Grab your buckets and throw water on the fire. Miss Tracy instructed them. Everybody go like this. Grab your buckets. Good. You go. All right, you do it again. Ready? All right, one more time. Very good. Very good. The strong observation of Unique, the quick thinking of Miss Tracy, and the quick action of all the campers saved Camp Learned a Lot from becoming Camp Burned a Lot. And so, everybody breathed a big sigh of relief. And the man kept telling him the story. You thought those were strange events, he said. Wait till you see what happens next. Oh no, said Robbie. I don't think I can take much more of this. I know, said Amy. Everything is happening so fast. Now, everyone sat quietly, listening to the strange man say the line. Everyone sat quietly on the campfire, and they waited to see what happened next. Nothing happened. So they waited, and still nothing happened. But then, all of a sudden, nothing happened. And they kept waiting. They knew something else was bound to happen. The man had only been in their campsite for a few minutes, and it already had a swaying campground, a camp quake, and a small forest fire. Surely there would be more. Heck, the man even said a line from the story that says, wait till you see what happens next. And yet here they were, at the bottom of the next paragraph. Nothing had happened. So, they'd gotten through an uneventful paragraph. It was quite a relief for Miss Tracy, but the campers were getting bored. I mean, sure, it was nice to just be seated calmly around the campfire next to the fellow campers, but this was getting boring. Who wants as boring as arts and crafts, Miss Tracy? Plus, the anticipation was really starting to get to everybody. I mean, they all knew that something else was bound to happen, so why wouldn't it just happen already? Look at that. Another paragraph gone, and they were all still sitting there. If something didn't happen soon, they were all going to burst with anticipation. This story is getting boring, said Gabrielle. Hey, Gabrielle, I wrote this story. I don't appreciate those comments. She's right, said Allison. It started off with a bang, but now it's beginning to drag on. You too, Allison? I got my eyes on you. They're both right, said Yonique. We need some more adventure. Be careful what you wish for, strange man warned, or you just might get it. And with that, the campers cleared their third consecutive uneventful paragraph. But it was right here, at the very beginning of the very next paragraph, that the winds began to blow. Now, everybody, you have a fan go like this, and you would if I were there in person. But everybody, move your arms like this. Make some wind. It started off as a light breeze, but then it began to grow. Go a little bit faster. It grew and grew, faster and faster, until it was a gale force wind. And then it stopped. Ew, some wind. Big deal, said Amanda. That wasn't. But before she could say that next line, a drop of rain landed on her and cut her off in mid-sentence. So if I were there in person, this is a squirt bottle. You guys would all be getting rained on. And typically, when I do this at the NJCCA or other conferences, I know that your teacher. But when I do this in your classroom, the kids love this. So I'm running around the room making sure all the kids are getting wet. I do it for several minutes. Anyway, the wind kept blowing. I'm going to make some more wind. And the rain kept pouring. And the wind blew even stronger. And the rain kept coming down. Guys, I got to tell you, it was the biggest rainstorm they ever had at this conference. It just kept raining and pouring, and the wind kept blowing, and you will not believe what happened next. Next, everybody heard the really loud rumble of thunder. Now, I need you guys all to shout together with me. Rumble, 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 boom. Ready? Here we go. Rumble, 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 boom. And the sky lit up with lightning. Everybody screamed. I assume you're doing it, so good job. But you know what screaming doesn't do? It doesn't stop the rain. So the rain kept pouring, and the wind kept blowing, and then there was more thunder. Ready? Rumble, 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 boom, and more lightning, and they all screamed again. Good job, good job. This is terrible, said Robbie. Yeah, we're getting totally soaked, said Jason. This is totally going to mess up my hair, said Quiana. This is it. We're all going to die, shouted Gabrielle. Everybody just calm down. Calm down, said Miss Tracy. But they couldn't calm down. You know why? I'll tell you why. The storm was a huge storm, and it began to cause a flood right in the middle of their campsite. If they didn't act quickly, Miss Tracy and all the children would soon be swept away by the rushing waters. Oh no, said Amanda. The water just washed away my favorite pair of flip-flops. Like I said, said Gabrielle. This is it. We're all going to die. No. Calm down, said Miss Tracy. I want you all to stay calm and jump into the canoes, she instructed them. So they all jumped into the canoes, and they grabbed the paddle, and they began to paddle downstream. Everybody go like this now. Can you have a paddle? Very good. I want you to go look right. There's a musical company in here. Paddle. In a minute, we're going to paddle to the music. Come on. The rushing currents began to take them downstream, and the children kept paddling to maintain control of their canoes. Before long, they found themselves right in the middle of a set of rapids. You guys go, I'll get bumpy now. I'll keep paddling, don't give up. This is really scary, shrieked Yonique from her canoe. I think it's totally awesome, shouted Allison. Well, said Quiana. One time on cable TV, I saw this movie about whitewater rafting, and it was really cool, she said. These kids were rafting on this river, she explained, and gee, Quiana, I hate to interrupt your movie review, said Amy, but does anybody else hear that really loud sound that's coming from around the bend up ahead? I hear it, kids, said Miss Tracy, and I want you all to stay calm and paddle for the shore, because to me, it sounds an awful lot like a... And as they turned the bend in the river, there it was, a waterfall. Everybody's jaws dropped. Not more than 100 yards in front of them was a huge waterfall. It fell at least 200 feet. This was not a good situation. Everybody aim your canoes and paddle for the shore, said Miss Tracy. So they all paddled as hard as they could. Come on, everybody, said Jason. We can make it. Yeah, said Bobby. We're getting pretty close. Just keep paddling, said Miss Tracy. They were actually doing pretty good. The lead canoe was only about 20 yards away from the west bank of the river, but you know what? They were only 10 yards away from the waterfall, and the current was getting faster. What do we do? What do we do? Shouted Amy. Oh, no, said Gabrielle. But just then, Superman appeared in the sky. Everybody, look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman. Hey, Superman, look down here, said Allison. Yes, said Gabrielle. Help us, help us, help us. But you know what happens? Superman realized that he was in the wrong story and he disappeared just as quickly as he'd appeared. Oh no! Oh no! Shouted Amy. What happened to Superman? I don't know, said Patrick. He was up there a minute ago. Yes, said Gabrielle. But now he's gone. What do we do next? Said Allison. Everybody just hold on tight to your canoes. Miss Tracy instructed them. Then all went over the waterfall. Everybody like this go. Ah! Very good. Ah! They all shouted on their way down the 200-foot drop, except for Gabrielle, who was sure to explain, "This is it! We're all gonna die!" Well, it was a miracle, but they all survived the drop over the waterfall, and they washed up on the shore below. Nobody was seriously hurt, although Robbie and Allison and Unique they had minor scrapes and bruises. They needed, band-aids, Elsa band-aids, Captain America, stuff like that. And everybody was soaking wet. Still, they were happy to be alive and to have survived another strange strange series of events in this story. So they all gave a big sigh of relief. Guys, ready? Wow, what do we do next, said Quiana? I don't know, said Amanda. Yeah, we're totally lost, said Jason. But as they were lost, they heard a regal screech from the sky. And they turned and looked toward the sun, and there, soaring high above them, was a majestic bald eagle. Hey, look, said Amy. It's a majestic bald eagle. Yeah, said Allison. Maybe he can help us. I sure hope so, said Yogi. But the eagle had seen the campers dropping into the waterfall and wash up on the shore below. And he came swooping on down to greet them. Hello, everyone. My name is Lightning. Welcome to my forest. Lightning, Lightning, it's really nice to meet you, said Amanda. My name's Amanda. Hey, Amanda, how's it going? asked Lightning, returning the warm greeting. Well, we're kind of sort of lost, said Kriana. Yeah, said Jason. Is there any way you can help us find our way back to Camp Learned a Lot? Actually, kids, I was hoping that you could help me. You see, just before you arrived, a terrible storm blew through, and we know all about that storm, said Catherine. Right, said Amy. It was the rains of the storm that flooded us out and put us here on the shore. Oh, I see. Well, maybe we can help each other, said Lightning. Now, Lightning went on to explain that it was the high winds of the storm that had blown an egg out of his nest. And that egg was wedged into a crevice in the mountainside. And that crevice was too narrow, too little for him to dive down into from up above. The campers felt so sad for Lightning. They did not want him to lose his future son or daughter. I don't understand, said Amanda. How can we help you? Yeah, said Yogi. It's not like we can fly up into the sky and dive down into the crevice. So how are we going to get to that egg? Well, said Lightning, the mountain is formed over that cave right there. And there are some paths which lead up to the crevice from below it. Now, eagles are not made for exploring caves, but humans are. So do you think you can pipe through the cave, up to the crevice, and gently retrieve my future igloo, he asked. Absolutely, they all exclaimed in unison. That's just great, said Lightning gratefully. I'll fly up to the very top of the crevice, and I'll keep screeching so you can follow my voice through the cave to the egg, he explained. I hope you all brought your flashlights along, because it sure is dark and scary in there. Did you say that it's dark and scary? Asked Amy. I'm not a big fan of dark and scary. Me neither, said Catherine. It'll be okay, said Miss Tracy. We all brought our flashlights along, and I'm sure at least a couple survived our drop over the waterfall. Oh, yeah, I saw that guy, started Lightning. That was totally righteous. You guys are awesome. With your adventuresome spirit, I know you'll be able to rescue my egg. So Lightning gave them all a feather fly, and he took off flying to the top of the crevice. Meanwhile, Miss Tracy led all the campers into the dark, damp, eerie, and echoey cave. And together, they only had 4 working flashlights. Okay, gang, listen up, said Miss Tracy. here's what we're going to do. In order to conserve our batteries and make sure we always have light in this cave, we're only going to use one flashlight at a time. Let me see. Amy, you've got a working flashlight. You lead us first. Sure thing, Miss Tracy, said Amy. Everyone follow me. So Amy began to lead the way through the cave, and they were doing really good. About 20 minutes into the hike, they came to this really wide opening. And across the wide opening on the opposite side, there was a dim source of light from above. They had found the bottom of the crevice. Now, Bobby went running across that wide open area when all of a sudden he noticed that every step he took made a distinct crackling, squishing sound. Well, Bobby froze, and the rest of the group looked down at the floor of the cave. Hey, why is the floor of the cave moving? Asked Allison. Yeah, said Unique. And what was that funny noise Bobby was making as he stepped across the cave? The floor's not moving, said Amanda. Those are bugs! Everybody screamed. Yeah, really, at this point in the story, if I were there in person, I'd be throwing rubber bugs at you. But, I'm screaming stuff. Anyway, they all screamed, except for Kiana, who scooped up a beetle and quickly ate it. Hey, said Kiana, in certain parts of the world, bugs are considered a gourmet meal. And then there was Catherine, who scooped up a bug and said, wow, cool, Miss Tracy, can I bring him back to camp and keep him as a pet? And Miss Tracy was like, oh, no, absolutely not. But since you have no fear of these icky bugs, you can be the one to walk across them and climb into the crevice, she said. Give me your flashlight, she added. It just died, came the response. That's okay, said Miss Tracy. Christopher, you've got a working flashlight. Please hand it to Kiana. Well, if it will keep me from walking across these bugs, she can definitely have my flashlight, she said. So Kiana began to walk across the bugs. I need you guys to say all together with me, crackle, crackle, squish, squish. Ready? Here we go. Crackle, crackle, squish, squish. Again, crackle, crackle, squish, squish. One more time. Crackle, crackle, squish, squish. Well, she reached the other side pretty quickly. She began to climb up through the crevice. There were some tight spots along the way, but she was able to make it, squeeze through and make it to the lost egg in about 10 minutes. Once she got there, she gently loosened the egg from its wedged-in position and lifted it up to a wider section of the crevice where Lightning was able to swoop down, gently cradle the egg in a sharp mound. Thank you, Kiana. Thank you so much, said Lightning briefly. Please also express my heartfelt gratitude to the rest of the gang. Now, let's get you all back to Camp Learn to Love. When you climb back down through the crevice, explain to Miss Tracy and all your fellow campers that there's another cave that leads right out to your very own campsite at Camp Learn to Love. Tell them I will fly there right after I return this egg to my nest. And once I arrive at your campsite, I'll stand outside the cave entrance and call to you. Just follow my calls, and you'll all be home in no time. I'll tell them the plan, Lightning, she said. We'll be waiting for your calls. Well, just after she got back and explained the plan, they all heard their first call from their loyal friend Lightning. Hey, I can hear Lightning calling to us, said Jason. Me too, said Amy. I knew he wouldn't let us down, said Allison. Unfortunately, Lightning's calls were coming from a tunnel on the opposite side of the wide open area. That's right. Everybody had to walk through the bugs in order to get back to Camp Learn to Love. Okay, gang, listen up, said Miss Tracy. Here's what we're going to do. I want you all to stay calm and follow me. We're going to walk really quickly through this area full of bugs, and we'll be on our way home in no time. Well, said Yannick, one time on cable TV, I saw this Indiana Jones movie, and he had to do the same thing. And there was a little Chinese boy and a pretty blonde girl. They ended up, yeah, Yannick. I think we've all seen that movie before, said Gabrielle. Hey, yeah, said Bobby. I really liked that movie. Me too, said Amanda. Come on, kids, follow me, said Miss Tracy. So now they all began to walk through the bugs. You guys ready? Here we go. Crackle, crackle, squish, squish. Again, crackle, crackle, squish, squish. Ew! This is so gross, shouted Amy. Every step we take produces more squishy bug guts. Yeah, said Kiana. And I'm not wearing the proper footwear for this. I can feel the bugs tickling my toes. Now that's really gross, said Robbie. It sure is gross, said Christopher. I'd hate to have bugs tickling my toes, said Amanda. Just keep moving, said Miss Tracy. Here we go, 2 more times. Ready? Crackle, crackle, squish, squish. One more. Crackle, crackle, squish, squish. When I got to the other side, second flashlight went out. The batteries were dead. Okay, let me see. Yonique, you lead us next. Sure thing, Miss Tracy. Everyone follow me, said Yonique. So Yonique began to lead the flashlight. And Miss Tracy, you know what she did? She turned the hike into a geology lesson, identifying various types of rocks and stones. Hey, said Amy, me and my family, we went through a cave out by Hershey Park about a year ago. I know the difference between a stalagmite and a stalactite, she added. Well, that's great, Amy, said Miss Tracy. Why don't you share that knowledge with your fellow campers? Okay, sure, said Amy. A stalactite is a rock formation that hangs down from the ceiling of a cave. Like that one up there, she said, pointing above them. And a stalagmite is a rock formation that grows up from the floor of the cave. Like that one over there, she said, pointing to their left. Very good, Amy. Very good, said Miss Tracy. And thanks for sharing that with all of us. Well, they all kept hiking through the cave, following Lightning's calls. They seemed to be getting very close because his calls were getting louder and louder, when all of a sudden, everybody heard a difference. They froze in their tracks. Everybody freeze. They froze in their tracks as they heard literally tens of thousands of squeaks coming from directly above them. You guys speak from everybody. Squeak, 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 squeak. Very good. Nobody wanted to look up, yet they all felt like they really had to. Oh no! Oh no, said Allison. Please tell me that the ceiling is just moving and there's no bugs crawling all over it like the ones on the floor back there. Well, the good news, Allison, is they're not bugs, said Robbie. What's the bad news? Asked Allison, not sure what she wanted to know. They're bats, said Amanda, jumping into the conversation. Oh no! Bats, said Amy. Why did it have to be bats? And Gabrielle was like, this is it! We're all gonna die! Everybody just run! Run towards Lightning's voice, said Kriana. So they all started, everybody go like this. They ran as fast as they could. The bats swooped down at them and tickled their ears. One got caught in Miss Tracy's hair, but she shooed it away. Everybody shoot the bats away. Good. Don't want to tickle your ears. Very good. Yeah, it seemed like it took them forever, but really, it only took about 2 or 3 minutes before they all stumbled out of the cave and landed right back to their very own campsite at Camp Learn a Lot. Thank you, Lightning. Thank you so much for helping us get back to our camp, said Miss Tracy. We couldn't have done that without you. Oh, you're all very welcome, said Lightning. And thanks to all of you for helping me get my lost egg back. I couldn't have done that without you. They chatted for a little while, and then they waved goodbye to Lightning as everybody waved goodbye. They waved goodbye to Lightning as he flew back towards his nest. Now the sun had come back out and dried up the mess from the earlier storm, but it was preparing to set. So Miss Tracy took a quick roll call to make sure everyone had made it through the cave safely. And then she wasted no time restarting that campfire. There were hot dogs and marshmallows to roast, and there were camp songs to sing. But you know what? There would be no stories told around this campfire on the first night of camp. And probably not on the second night either. As a matter of fact, there might not be any more stories told around this campfire for the rest of the week. For they had all just survived their first campfire story, and nobody was in the mood for another one anytime soon. However, if any of you change your minds, you can always call me, because I just love telling stories. And that, my friends, is the end of our lecture. Okay, so I hope you guys like that story. I am not going to send you back to your schools with instructions to write your own, 30 or 40-minute story and put all your kids' names in there. But what we're going to do now, and I guess we'll have to do this on the chat, is what I want you to do is take just a few minutes, and there might be some dead air, that's fine. But take just a few minutes, and I want you to, in your mind, and if you have pen and paper, write down 2 or 3 or 4 books, picture books, that you have in your classrooms that you can make interactive. Picture books that you can have your children in your classrooms act out instead of looking at the pictures. So I want you to take a few minutes to do that, okay? And then I also want you to think of a picture book or 2 that you could, you and your children in an arts and crafts session can make a prop for, okay? Take Take maybe 5 minutes to do this, and then as you get your answers, normally I would break you guys into groups right now and send you tables, and you all talk together. But we're going to do this on the little chat session on the sidebar. Take a few minutes out and start posting. Everybody post one story. Think of a few of them, because if you're not the first to post, somebody might steal your idea. Think of a few, and then over here on the screen, post a picture book that you can use to make interactive. Okay? I'm going to read these comments. Thanks, ladies. Looks like you guys couldn't hear for a while. Okay, Three Little Pigs and a Big Bad Wolf. That's a good one. Hang on to that thought, Yonique, because I'm going to come back to you, but I want to see a couple more. Five Little Ducks. Oh, Bear Hunt. We used to do Bear Hunt at, I used to work at a camp called Camp Newman. I'm from Pennsylvania. Although today I'm in New Jersey. But yeah, going on a bear hunt's a good one. Oh, Gingerbread Man. I missed that one. I hasn't put one up yet. Gabrielle, you still here? Do you have a story for us? And Catherine? Okay, so Yonique, you were first with the Three Little Pigs. So over there on the text, give me 2 things that we can act out. Oh, very good, Gabrielle. A very hungry caterpillar. That's mentioned in a lot of these sessions, by the way. But Yonique, go ahead and type over there for me what we could do with the acting out the Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. And Amanda, you think, because you're next. You guys are typing. I'm looking at the time. I flew through that story. Normally, when I do these in person, it takes a lot longer. But I think it's because I'm throwing bugs, and I make the range seem a little bit longer. Touchy Ladybug. I don't know that one. Huffing and puffing. Right. Oh, and choosing the materials. So I guess with the materials, we'll be doing like this, like hammering and stuff. Is that what we could do? We could act that out, right? The huffing and puffing is great. Amanda, what can we do to act out the gingerbread man? I'm seeing a couple names I didn't see during the story. Thanks, Jenny. If you guys joined the session late and I didn't see your names ahead of time, I'm sorry I didn't put your names in the story. Normally, everybody in the audience hears their name quite a few times. It's funny. I've been telling stories for 13 years now, and I'm sure COVID has affected your centers, but it's really affected me too. But over the summer, I was able to do a few shows on Zoom, kind of like this. Although when I do them on Zoom, I can also see, the classroom, because they have a camera too, via a smart screen or a laptop or whatever. And I would love to do that for your centers too. If you guys are back and working and you're looking for some entertainment, the kids are driving you crazy. And you're looking for a break, I would love to do a Zoom show for you guys. You can get my information from Annette and Tracy, brother at NJCCA. Okay, so Amanda says in the, well, you guys can read it. But yeah, the gingerbread man running. Yeah, interaction is easy to do. Some of my stories, I use like props like fog machines, bubble machines, and snow machines. Today, you guys saw the fans very briefly and the squirt bottle. But interacting can be as simple as doing this. It can be as simple as screaming. You know, in some of my stories, I have a jungle story where we swing from vine to vine. It's just doing this. We climb up a rock cliff. We make the sound of a stampede. You flap our legs. I use cups if I'm there in person. You can reenact the different bugs and insects during the grouchy ladybug. So we can all act like bugs. Or your kids will love that. I'm not sure if your teachers love that too much, but your kids will love it. This is all good stuff. Let's do the bear hunt. Oh no, I'm sorry. Jamila, if you're still here, tell me what we would do for the 5 little ducks. Oh, Gabrielle, I love that. You could reenact the caterpillars eating using sign language and incorporate the colors of things he's eating. Then we can pretend we are forming our own cocoons, blossoming into a butterfly. And cocoons are, you know, all you need is like a towel or a sheet. A lot of this interaction can be done quite simply. Again, when I come in with my snow machine and my fog machine and my bubble machine, it gets a little bit high tech. Not too high tech. This is all good stuff, ladies. Amy says we can walk, swim, swish, feet. We can also use our hands. Oh yeah, binoculars. Good. Very good. This is all great stuff. I'm not sure how long this chat stays up there, so I'm hoping you're taking notes that you can all take back to your schools. Okay? Because again, you've all got these picture books in your room, and I'm sure you read them every day. And pointing the pictures, and that's very important, and you need to still do that with the kids. But if you take it to the next level, where they're acting things out, they become part of it. They're active participants in the story. And in all these stories, they have like a moral to the story or a lesson to the story. And when you teach them that lesson in a fun and stimulating fashion, it'll stick with them. I mean, while we're going through this on the chat, we learned 2 important lessons in the campfire story. I don't know if you guys are busy having fun, but we actually learned 2 important lessons. We learned cooperation, and we learned perseverance. Okay? Oh, thanks, Tracy. So cooperation, let me ask you this. Is there anybody in that story that we were able to help out? Put it on the side. See if you were paying attention. Who did we help out in this story? Lightning the eagle, right? We help Lightning. We help him get his egg back. And Lightning, he helps us get back to Camp Learned, right? So we help Lightning. Lightning helps us work together. That's cooperation. And at this point, if I'm in a classroom, I'll ask your kids, who can we cooperate with here at the school? And I'll invariably say the teachers. And I'll ask them for several ways they can help you guys out. And they'll raise their hands and they'll say things like, we can clean up the table after lunch. We can listen to them. At which point I look at the kids and say, yeah, we can listen to our teachers the first time they say something instead of the 5th time. Then we talk about perseverance. I have the kids repeat perseverance back to me. I tell them perseverance means never give up. I have them repeat that back to me. And then I take them through the story. And I'll tell them, we went through the earthquake, but did we give up? And they're like, no. And the earthquake caused a forest fire, but did we give up? No. And then wind and rain and thunder and lightning. And of course, never give up. So every story I write always has an important lesson, a life lesson, 1 or 2. And like I said, I take them through that after the story's over. But every story, every picture book you have in your room typically has some kind of lesson to it as well. And if you you read them the story and point to the pictures and point out the lesson, they'll get it. But if they act everything out, it'll really, really stick with them. I said, Jamila says, there's some up in yellow and have them run off and hide until that was cute. It's cute. Yeah, and you know what else you could do? I'm sure you guys are all you all know about Oriental trading. Familiar with Oriental trading? You can get like little duck beaks, styrofoam duck beaks, and they can all be ducks from home day. And if you want to drive the rest of the school crazy, you can get those little duck collars. But I don't know. Your fellow teachers might not like it. So this is all good stuff. All right, so now that we talked about making our picture book stories more interactive, I want you to, again, over there on the chat, I want you to write down one prop that would be easy for your age appropriate for your children, a prop that they can use in the story you mentioned or in another story. Always make a text to text. Yannick, I'm not sure what that means. Text to text, text to self, or text to love connection. Do you mean texting like this? This is where I really wish we were in person. I can hear you guys talk when reading. So, yeah, if I'm taking your question the right way, then yeah, almost every writer, when he writes, so that when you read to the kids, is trying to teach them a world lesson, life lesson. And I know I do that in every story. Every story I write, yes, Jenny, I like the way you said that. Yeah, I always try to link it back to something relatable to the kids. Okay, I want to teach them something. I want them to teach it to them in a fun fashion because I know if they learn something in a fun and interesting fashion, it's going to stay with them. I look back at my youth, and I learned a lot in grade school and high school and whatnot. But the lessons I remember most are the lessons I learned playing sports, little league sports. Because my dad was my coach and he taught me perseverance. He said one of the things I'll never forget is when you hit the ball, even if the ball just runs 3 feet in front of home plate, you have to run to first base until you get there and touch the base. You never give up. Even if the guy throws you out and 5 seconds later you hit that base, you cost the first baseman to drop the ball, and now you're safe. So these are things, and I was like 8 or 9 years old when my dad and my other coaches taught me these things. And I learned it while having fun, not while sitting at a desk. So my whole point is, if we teach kids important life lessons in a very fun, stimulating fashion, they'll remember them. So yeah, I always try to relate all my stories back to life lessons. There are 3 things, whenever I sit down and write a new story, 3 things I'm always going to incorporate into the story. One is I'm going to leave a lot of blanks for names because the kids in the audience are going to be main characters in the story. Okay? Second thing is I'm always going to want to use props, whether it's as simple as a sport bottle, make it rain on the kids. And a lot of my stories have precipitation, or it could be a fan. But I'm always thinking, what do I have already, or what really cool prop do I want to go out and buy? So I want it to be highly interactive, kids active participants. And the third thing is I always want to kind of bop them over the head with an important life lesson. And I've got more than a dozen stories. The campfire story we just talked about, we learned cooperation and perseverance. I have a jungle story that has an anti-bullying message. I have a pirate adventure story where we learn the value of hard work. Because, today kids just want things given to them, right? So we talk about, we go through this treasure hunt with a pirate. We work very hard to get the treasure. And then the second lesson we learn at the pirate story is that the true treasure is knowledge. Because when we open up the treasure box, I literally have a wooden treasure box. And it's filled with a lot of stuff from Oriental trading, gold coins, plastic gold coins, and jewelry, necklaces, and rings and whatnot. But we also find a book to represent reading. and pens and pencils for writing. We find a ruler and a calculator to represent math, and a box of crayons and a paintbrush to represent the arts, which together kind of encompass the knowledge, right? So the second lesson is that the true treasure is knowledge. I've got a multicultural story where we go all around the world. We learn that, yeah, sometimes people are different than us, look different, they sound different, they play different games and have different customs, but deep down inside, we're really all the same. And we also learn in that multicultural story, because it's a magical book, it takes us all over the world. We also learn that if you learn how to read, use your imaginations, books can take you all over this great big, really small world. Don't you know this is a great idea? Good, thanks. Oh, Gabrielle, that's a great idea. I'm hoping you guys are seeing this. Gabrielle says a helpful resource might be prepping a story box where we can have universal props that we can easily pull depending upon the story we choose, right? And it's funny you say that, because whenever I go into a building, I've got this big Rubbermaid box with me, and it holds, 50 or so of these. It might have my fog machine, it might have my snow machine, it might have my squirt bottle. The music you heard was on a boom box. I'll have that in there in the different CDs. So yeah, I've got a prop box that travels with me. Tracy, I'm glad you put not literally when it says spot them over there with them. You guys are coming up with some great ideas, but I want to start seeing some props. Something very simple to make for your kids, whether they're 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Right? Start telling me little props over here. Oh, Amanda's got one. As a prop, we can make cutouts of the gingerbread man and other characters. This is great. Put them on sticks. Yes. My daughter, who is now a senior at the University of Pittsburgh, when she was a little girl, I guess maybe 8 or 9, she, for whatever reason, she got a bunch of popsicle sticks. And she would make these little characters out of paper and cut them out, and she would glue them on there. And then she took the popsicle sticks and she put them inside a shoebox. But what she also did was she took the lid of the shoebox and she cut little slits in them. She would stick the popsicle sticks in the slits, as depending upon what character was in the lead or talking or whatever. She just moved them around. Great idea. Characters on sticks. Great idea. And I like the idea of the prop box as well. Let me see if I missed anything. Blanket for the cocoon. Wings. Oh, this is good stuff. Oh, and Amy says a stuffed animal bear. You know what? That's a good point. We're going on behind. When I do my jungle story, one of the things, I'll send an email out to the director of the school that I'm going to, and I'll say that if the kids want to, it's just optional, you don't have to do this, but you can tell the kids that, tomorrow is Jungle Day, Mr. Don's going to do a jungle story, and encourage them to bring in their favorite stuffed jungle animal. To bring in monkeys, bears, mostly teddy bears. Some will bring dogs, even though they don't belong in the jungle, but they bring in their favorite stuffed animal, and then they kind of cuddle with the animal as we tell the story. These are all really good things you guys are coming up with.